What's up guys? In this video I'm going to be doing an unboxing and review of the Mobius Maxi 4K camera. Now if you're in the market for a GoPro style camera and you don't have $300 to $400 to spend, this camera is capable of 4K video, comes in at only $100 and might be a solid alternative you want to look at. Alright, so the camera comes in this very clean magnetic style box. So let's open it up, see what we got. A user manual. We have the camera right here. This is kind of a mounting bracket, I take it. Comes with a rubber cap to protect the lens, so that's nice. It actually feels pretty solid and has a little bit of weight to it, but it's not quite as much as a GoPro. Actually, let's see how much it weighs. So a GoPro, this is my GoPro 9. This weighs 161 grams. And then this camera weighs 53 grams. So significantly lighter than a GoPro. Size-wise, this is clearly longer. It is thinner and it is lighter. But you will have probably a little bit of difficulty mounting this to a drone as opposed to a GoPro, where this has the mount built in. You're going to have something that goes around the camera that holds it. So let's continue taking stuff out of the box. We have this little one right here. This is just a strip of Velcro. This looks like the mounting bracket. Okay, so this piece goes in here, and then I'm assuming it just kind of clicks down. I think. There we go. That's kind of difficult to clip in. Those little prongs are pretty stiff, but got it in. So now we can mount this to any tripod mount or 3/8 mount. I have no idea what this wire is for. We'll check the manual for this one. Here we have an adapter. That's pretty nice actually. So this camera uses a USB-C port right here. So then it also just comes with this charging cable right here, which is just USB to USB-C. So this is how you charge it. I'm really curious what this is for. So let's open up the manual and just take a look. All right, so in the package contents, it says Mobius Maxi 4K camera. That's this. Mounting base, that's this. Velcro, that's that. Type-C USB OTG adapter, that's this. And charging cable, that's this. I have no idea what this cable is or what it goes to. I'm gonna hold on to it because it looks like it could be important. I'm not sure. To mount the camera into this, you literally just slide it right like that, clicks into place, and now you can mount it using this little adapter down here. Just screw it on and film whatever you're filming. So for this camera, you're going to want to use a V30 memory card. So you can see the speed rating right here. You're going to want one of these faster memory cards, otherwise you won't be able to film in 4K. I'm going to use this 64 gigabyte V30 SanDisk Extreme card, and we should have no problem filming in 4K with this. So with this camera, you can film in 4K up to 30 frames per second, 2.7K up to 60 FPS, and then 1080 up to 120 FPS, and 720 up to 240. So you can get some nice slow motion with this in 720p at 240 FPS, but you are going to pay with resolution. Personally, I would keep this in 4K at 30 or 2.7K at 60. Otherwise, if you're just looking for a small file size, I'd probably do 1080 at 60 FPS. So obviously with this camera, there's no screen. Everything's controlled with these 3 buttons. You have a power button, you have a mode button, and then you have the shutter button. To turn it on, you just hold this down, and it turns on with the same beep noises that a GoPro has. 3 beeps for on, 5 beeps for when it turns off. To switch the mode, initially it's in video 1, so 4K at 30 FPS. To change that to video 2, you click the mode button right here. This will turn blue, and now it's in video 2, and that's 1080-60. Click this again, and now red is in photo mode. So to take a photo, you hit the shutter button. It'll beep once, take a photo. In video, it's the same thing. Right now we're back in video 1, so 4K 30, and to take a video, just hit the shutter button, and it'll start flashing. That's how you know the video is recording. And then to stop recording, just click it again. You have 2 beeps for a successful shutter. You can change the settings for each mode in Windows. I use Mac, so I have no way of changing the settings. So I'm just going to be filming in 4K 30 and 1080-60, and I'll show you what some of the photos look like too. To turn it off, just hold this button down. Pretty simple operation, very similar to a GoPro, just minus the screen. You kind of just go off the beeps and the color of the LED, otherwise it actually works pretty good. So unfortunately, I don't have a PC to show you how to change the settings on this, but if you have a PC, you can plug it right into the computer, and using a program like MSetup or MTool, you can actually change the settings for this. So that's how you would be able to get 2.7K at 60 FPS if you wanted, or 720 at 240 FPS. Otherwise, you have 4K 30 and you have 1080-60, and then photo mode. And those are the 3 modes that you have built in, ready to go. So let's look at the camera real quick. The lens is a 150-degree diagonal wide-angle lens. This is an f2.8, so hopefully it does pretty good in low light. I'm not sure about any ND filters for this. I'm sure you can find some out there. I just don't have any. Unfortunately, this camera has a built-in battery, so you can't just take a cover off and remove it and swap out a new one like a GoPro. It's a 950 milliamp battery, so it should last a little while, but it is nice having the ability to swap out a battery on a GoPro, whereas that's something you can't really do on this. One thing to keep in mind with this camera is it's not waterproof like a GoPro. So if you're planning on getting a camera for any water sports or any situation where this camera would get wet, I would probably avoid this one because this one isn't water resistant at all. Something else to keep in mind with this camera is that it has loop recording, so you can use this as a dash cam. Loop recording is basically, it'll record over the oldest file. So if it gets to the end of the space on the memory card, it'll then delete the oldest file and start recording over it. So if you're using this in place of a GoPro, you're gonna wanna get a bigger memory card, and you'll be less likely to run into that issue. If you're using this as a dash cam, I think something like a 16 gigabyte or even a 32 gigabyte would be perfect. So I think this kind of camera I would use more so as a dash cam, but this is a drone channel, so I'm gonna find a way to mount this to a drone. We'll go get some flight footage. I'm gonna test out 4K 30, 1080-60, and I'll also get some pictures outside and see what it looks like. audio test for the Maxi 4K. I'm filming in 4K 30 right now. I'm about a foot away from the camera. Hopefully you can clearly hear my voice. Otherwise you can hear the sound of me walking and probably some birds. So when testing the battery, I fully charged it and I just let it sit recording just to see how long I could film for, and I got an hour 55 minutes of battery life out of this. So not too bad. I think that's about comparable to a GoPro, maybe a little less than a GoPro. But keep in mind, you can't remove the battery and swap out a new one. All right, so this camera really isn't too bad. I think its only downfalls compared to a GoPro is the fact that it's not waterproof. The quality at night or in low light is a little staticky. The audio quality is kind of muffled, and I'd compare it to like a GoPro Hero 3 quality. Other than that, honestly, I could live with the hour 55 I got out of the battery and the 4K video that comes out of it. It's actually pretty decent quality. There is a little bit of pixelation, especially in the 1080 video. 4K was actually pretty clean. There's a tiny bit of pixelation in the video. Like I said, if I were using this in place of a GoPro, I would keep it just right in 4K 30. I think the video that comes out of that is pretty good. 1080 60, eh. So all in all, solid little camera, $100, really not bad. So if you found this video useful, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I do a lot of review videos and drone related content. Make sure you like the video and leave a comment down below on what you think of this camera.